Welcome to Celeb Scene Central. The Saturday Night Live biopic Saturday Night is now playing in select theaters, so it is the perfect time to revisit the show's first ever episode. Set in the 90 minutes leading up to SNL's first broadcast on the evening of October 11, 1975, Saturday Night peeks behind the curtain at the chaos of putting a countercultural live comedy show on the air for the first time. The film ends just as the show finally begins, which renewed our curiosity to revisit the actual first episode of the variety series. Fortunately for comedy fans, all 50 seasons of Saturday Night Live are currently streaming on Peacock. That means you can watch the very first episode of SNL, which features host George Carlin and musical guests Billy Preston and Janice Ian, by scrolling back to the very beginning of the show's catalog on the streamer. The first EP of the show introduced the world to cast members who have now become comedy legends. Chevy Chase anchors the first ever Weekend Update segment with special correspondence from Lorraine Newman. John Belushi gets a morbid English lesson from head writer Michael Odenag. Dan Aykroyd tests the limits of Gilda Radner's home security. And Garrett Morris assists Jane Curtin in court as she writes down her disturbing testimony instead of speaking it aloud. The show hadn't solidified its now predictable structure at the time of the premiere, so the episode features a number of deviations from the contemporary SNL formula that might surprise modern viewers. For example, Carlin has 4 different stand-up segments rather than the now standard singular monologue, and doesn't appear in any sketches. And there are a total of 4 musical performances, 2 each from Ian and Preston. The episode also features a number of segments supplied by comedians and entertainers who weren't part of SNL's cast. Legendary comic Andy Kaufman does a brief lip-sync routine to the Mighty Mouse theme, Albert Brooks provides a short film about bizarre news stories, Valerie Bromfield does her own short stand-up routine, and Jim Henson sends the Muppets into the land of Gorch for the first time. Saturday Night stars Gabriel LaBelle as SNL creator Lorne Michaels, Rachel Sennott as writer Rosie Schuster, Lamorne Morris as Garrett Morris, Corey Michael Smith as Chevy Chase, Dylan O'Brien as Dan Aykroyd, Ella Hunt as Gilda Radner, Kim Matula as Jane Curtin, Matt Wood as John Belushi, Emily Farren as Lorraine Newman, Tommy Dewey as Michael Odenag, Cooper Hoffman as NBC exec Dick Ebersol, Willem Dafoe as NBC head of talent David Tabet, J.K. Simmons as Milton Berle, and many more. Saturday Night is now playing in select theaters, ahead of its wide release on October 11, the anniversary of the Season 1 premiere. The full Saturday Night Live archive is streaming on Peacock. The show is currently in the midst of its 50th season, airing new episodes every Saturday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 p.m. Pacific Time on NBC.